Thank you for staying. Welcome to the news on the AM show. In our first story, President Akufo-Addo is courting the support of the United States to ward off possible security threats to Ghana being posed by what he describes as Russian mercenaries mining along the northern borders of Ghana. The president says the Russian Wagner Group is being compensated with a mine very close to Ghana's northern border to help the insurgency in Burkina Faso. President Akufo-Addo spoke in a meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken as part of the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit happening in Washington.
It is very important that ECOWAS and the West African area remains a democratic space. There's a reason for the actions we took over the coup d'etats in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and in Guinea. And ECOWAS has been very consistent in refusing to deal with these governments because of the undemocratic nature of their accession to power. The commitment to democratic values and institutions is a high priority for our states. We in Ghana have been through all kinds of arrangements, governance arrangements in the past, one-party state, all kinds of experiments have taken place. And our people are now very clear in their mind. They want to go down the avenue of democratic engagement. And that is why the last 30 years of the Fourth Republic have been the most stable in our country's history. We want to do everything to preserve that. But there are enemies of democracy who are working hard in West Africa today. And therefore, it's important that we bring that matter to your notice and see to what extent we can engage you as a reliable partner in the pushback of those forces. There are other areas, of course, of great significance too, the cooperation for economic growth and for the development and for the making of prosperity for our people, which is to some extent part and parcel of the same fight. The young people have things to do. They're not going to be recruits for terrorist forces. So all of that is part and parcel. But specifically, what we can do about the terrorist threat in West Africa is now the major security concern of all our states, especially the coastal states, that up till now, to the last 6 months, have been relatively free of this threat. But now on all our common borders of Benin, Togo, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, are these forces that are operating there. And we have to find a way to be able to respond, and respond effectively to protect our populations.
Now, Chairman of Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, Kwame Enyimadu, says salary issues of the Office of the Special Prosecutor have been resolved. Exclusive documents available to Joy News indicate that the Special Prosecutor, Kisi Ejabing, and the staff are yet to receive their salaries 16 months after assuming office. Kwame Enyimadu says a meeting was held between his committee and the Chief Director of the Finance Ministry, who represented the minister. Without giving details, he said the salary issues had now been dealt with.
The minority leader speaks. It's good that he has his ears on the ground, because at the committee level, it came up. And just yesterday, we invited the Minister of Finance, and he was represented by no mean a person, by the Chief Director, and we have resolved the issues. And we have incorporated that, the issue that you raised, that, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Haruna would agree with me, that once the issue that he is talking about is already incorporated in the report, he must not be in a rush to actually talk about it when we have not laid a report. So on this note, if Mr. Speaker grants me the leave and the indulgence of the House, I may want to lay the items five together.
Well, Majority Chief Whip Frank Anodom-Presser's government must intervene to force traders to drive down prices of goods after a period of sustained appreciation of the Ghana cedi. The Member of Parliament for Nsawam, Idrajeri, also cited the fall in petroleum prices, which he believes should influence the downward adjustment of prices of goods and transportation fares. But the minority disagrees with him. Kwaku Asante is our man in Parliament and observed the debate.
Over the past few days, the cedi has regained strength and at some point was the strongest performer against the dollar. Majority Chief Whip Frank Anodom says government must intervene to drive down prices.
The concern also is that while we are currently experiencing a turnaround from the depreciation, the expected economic relief is not being felt by the ordinary Ghanaians since goods are still being sold at high prices. Speaker, I make this submission urging the executive and its policymakers to take additional measures directed at restoring price of food items and other goods to some sustainable level.
Chairman of the Finance Committee, Kwaku Kwatin, backed this position.
Mr. Speaker, to use the policy rate as an excuse for profiteers who cited exchange rate deterioration for increase in prices, that they are unable to do that now because of the policy rate.
But the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, says as a free market, government should not be encouraged to intervene in the pricing of goods and services.
Well, Speaker, I'm limited because he states that he comes under Order 72, and therefore I'm unable to provoke debate. But the political tradition that he belongs to, the property-owning democracy, recognizes economics and recognizes that demand and supply dictates what happens in the market in a liberalized economy such as ours. So, Mr. Speaker, don't go and make statements on worry market women at Makola or in Ababu or in Techima market who are selling based on demand and supply.
MP for North Tong, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, and MP for Yape Kuswao, John Jinapo, also argued that there are other factors that have led to the increase in the prices of goods. And without addressing these factors, prices will stay up.
It is a good call for us to urge the actors in the market to respond. But I think that the commentary has sometimes been unfair, as though people are just being wicked and don't want to be caring.
The IMF announcement coincided with the reduction. But those of us who've done economics will just tell you there's a relationship. You can't claim causality.
The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, over the course of this week, advised members to review prices downwards after some sustained gains by the Ghana cedi. Some traders kicked against that, and then now that this matter is being discussed in Parliament, the pressure is going to be on the traders to do something about prices, although some traders maintain that the stock they have currently were purchased at a time that the cedi was performing very badly. But the ordinary Ghanaian is calling for some intervention from government. Reporting for Joy News, Kwaku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
In our next story, Associate Professor for Surgery at the University of Ghana Medical School, Professor Michael Ohineyeboah, is advocating an increase in the premium for surgical operations under the National Health Insurance Scheme. This, according to the professor, would reduce the cost burden on health facilities and also encourage patients to seek early treatment for health conditions. Professor Ohineyeboah made the remarks during an outreach program to provide surgical services to patients at the Rara Government Hospital in the Oti region. Peter Senu has more in this report.
The outreach program by Rara Government Hospital was in collaboration with the Kuntini for the Rara traditional area. Nana Berima Kwekwe the first. Surgical services for goiter, hernia, fibroid, among others, were provided. The program, according to Professor Ohineyeboah, the lead surgeon, was to bring specialist care to the rural communities, which mostly is centralized at major referral facilities.
Essential surgery, which is basic surgical care, is the right of all people, wherever they are. However, the resources are not uniformly available. And therefore, especially surgical expertise, which in Ghana is available in the cities, has to find a way to reach the people in the rural areas. My motivation is to spread my surgical skills to the benefit of all Ghanaians, including those living in the rural communities.
Considering the expensive nature of surgical services across the globe, Professor Ohene Yeboah is advocating for an increase in premium payment for surgical services at the next review of the National Health Insurance Scheme.
As a surgeon, I'm aware of the cost of surgical care, both in the equipment and resource persons. And based on this, I am advocating really that in the next review of the policy, special attention is paid to surgical care, so that the premium for surgical operations perhaps may be a bit higher than the ordinary premiums for the other aspects of healthcare, because surgery is so expensive everywhere in the world.
The medical superintendent for the Rara Government Hospital, Dr. Maunyo Apiadido, says one of the reasons for the outreach program is to promote the health-seeking attitude of residents in the catchment area. The health-seeking attitude of the residents in the area he bemoaned as bad, with some residents sometimes arriving at the facility late with complications.
Health is wealth. Providing healthcare to our clients, we decided to make sure that we can promote the health-seeking behavior of our community members. Per my observation, the general health-seeking behavior of Ghanaians, and then specifically to my catchment area, is very poor. There's delay in seeking healthcare. The delay also go with other superstitions. They tend to report late, where most of the cases are almost complicated. And then in regards, we decided to organize this outreach to promote better health-seeking behavior. In other words, report early to be managed to prevent complication or even death.
Peter Sanu for Joy News.
Well, eScript Solutions Limited has launched an online medical delivery app to help in efficient and convenient medical delivery. The new app, MedFind, will allow people to order and pay for medical prescriptions just by downloading the app onto their device. Programs Manager of eScript Solutions Limited, Freeman Echampong, assures that the app will help give subscribers timely, quality medication in the comfort of their location.
MedFind has come to make sure that you get quality medication on time, okay, without going through one phone, using the legwork or moving, spending money on transportation, with the risk of even accidents and stuff like that. Just all to go and look for medication. So MedFind has come to, solve all this, and also to provide quality healthcare to people.
Well, right before we go, pupils of the University of Health and Allied Sciences Basic School have extended a helping hand to the inmates of Madamfo Ghana Children's Shelter in Ho. The pupils presented toiletries, foodstuffs, toys and clothing they purchased with savings from their daily pocket money. The gesture was to put smiles on the faces of the inmates and instill in them the qualities of leadership.
Madamfo Ghana, a non-governmental organization, was founded by Bettina Landgraf, a German, and his two Ghanaian friends, Victor Menu and the late Emmanuel Stevenson. The shelter was constructed in 2012 to house child slaves rescued from Volta Lake, abused children, orphans, and abandoned children. It currently houses over 45 inmates. To exhibit love and support to the inmates, pupils of UHA's basic school purchased some assorted items and presented them to the shelter. A Basic 5 pupil, Joel Arthur Asma, said they were only practicing what they were taught in religious and moral education to give alms to the less privileged in society.
We have given these items because it is part of our motto, learning today and leading tomorrow. And one of the qualities of a leader is to share and not to expect things from society. And as we learned in RME, which is religious and moral education, in the Islam religion, they have a pillar of Islam, which is zakat, that gives to the poor. And also in Christianity and traditionalism, we also do the same. That is why we are here to give items.
The headmaster, Seth Kunga, said the donation would become an annual event on the school's calendar.
We are here because we are training them to be future leaders of this nation and the continent. And as future leaders, we are training them to know that when you are a leader, it is better for you to give than to expect to get from your subordinates or society or the nation. That is why what they have brought here are part of what they need to enjoy. Their Christmas goodies, their dresses that are not worn out, money and everything. Some of them saved money to be able to do this, but we can give some of our teachers who come here and then partner with them, because these children are in their formative ages. And then if they are given good foundation academically, we hope that they will do well in future.
The Deputy Director of Madamfo Ghana Children's Shelter, Alex Kpejigo Komla, appreciated the gesture by the pupils ahead of the Christmas.
In all this category of food stuff given to us, it will go a long way to bless the children, because the children need it a lot. And this is the moment they need it, and it has come at the right time. So we are blessed to have the items. It will bless them.
Fred Kwame Asai, Joy News. Ho.
And that's how we end the news this morning. Stay with us. We get into the papers next for the news review. We'll be right back.